No, that's his nose. He's not going to have a nose at this point. And I'll need to put in some more shapes because I've got to break it. This pencil's not rubbing. Oh, I know what it is. It's the pencil I drew it with. I don't want that in there, and I don't want that in there, so I'm rubbing it out. I've also decided that he needs a tail. So he's going to have a tail.
The real tail looks like.
Yeah, they're long. They're quite long, but that's wispy at the end. Okay, there's his tail. I'm going. Yeah, that is a painting that Dan did a couple of years ago, and she brought it out, and I thought, oh, because we're doing rhinos, I think it's a lovely painting. But look at the skin and the hide of the actual photograph. So, I am going to Blue Peter moment, okay? Because we're going to stage 2. That is one that I've done earlier, okay? You can see I've changed the horn. I've made their horns bigger. He's got a tail. I've made the ears bigger. I've made the ears bigger. And I've started, well, I've got enough. I've got enough shapes. You can see how that has become that. Can you see? Simply by drawing in shapes. When I get to that stage, just leave it down. I'm going to get my black fine liner. Now you're going to say, well, why use a black fine liner? Because at this stage you've got a lot of rubbings out that you can't really see. And also, the minute you start drawing your shapes, you will see that some of them make sense and some don't. It's a psychological thing. So let's, for instance, I thought that I had another.
How long did it take you to get that?
This?
Yeah.
This far?
Yeah.
20 minutes? I have done lots. I thought I had an ultrafine here.
Would you like one?
No, but that's annoying because I did have an ultrafine. Anyway,
Is that one?
is that it? Oh yeah, well done. Okay, so I'm going to start looking at each shape. I'm not going to outline the rhino because he's no longer a rhino. He is a series of shapes because that's what cubism was. They reduced the real world into shapes. And while I'm doing this, I'm thinking, how am I going to paint? Is that shape feasible to put paint in? And if it's not, I've just found one now. That shape was divided into 2. You see that line? But that's going to make that a very awkward. So I'm going to just rub that line out. Okay? And I'm going to go through the whole thing, reducing it to shapes. And this one I've actually got points. Can you see how you can use the same image and yet get so many different paintings from the same image?
Is there any consistency about the size of each of the shapes?
No.
So you can have small shapes and...
You want small and big shapes. You can decide, because really there are no rules. So you know how I said you could decide to have big shapes in the background and really break the rhino up into small shapes.
Because on that one, they're all very similar size.
Yeah, that was
shapes.
That was the first one I did. I don't say it's wrong. It's how easily do you want the animal to be viewed? The more shapes you break the animal up into, I'm looking for a picture. Okay, so this was somebody it's not Julie, who's always ahead of the game. And she sent me that last night and said, oh, I can't stop thinking rhinos. Okay.
You still want to be able to read it as a rhino, don't you?
I feel.
Even if his head is that
Yes,
end of the
distorted.
paper,
Yes.
his eyes are that end of the paper, you still got to read it as a rhino.
I think so. But you don't have to, because if you look at some of Picasso's work, he has an arm up there and a foot down here. You know, you could, if you wanted to, take that head and put another one over here. It's entirely up to you. I've kept it as simple as I can for this first one. Next project is we're doing a still life for our next project, so we're going to cubis it.
A male model?
A still life. Unless you'd like Vic to become a model.
Just remember this has been recorded.
So that is.
No, Jill.
Does everybody understand where we're going, or is it still as clear as mud?
Well, we can ask if we
You
get
can
to
ask,
Yeah.
and it's in pencil.
I think it's quite nice, Sue, sitting here. I'm just seeing shapes. I'm not seeing your rhino at
Yeah.
all.